Big Daddy's Donuts with 3 Kansas City metro locations. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy donuts, and that's kind of the same thing. I can't wait to sink my teeth into one. Big Daddy's Eat More Donuts. APNvideo.com is on the air, and today we're coming to you from Tempe Diablo Stadium, the winter home of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But today it's home to the 2022 Msbl World Series as the Kansas City A's are on the air, taking on the St. Paul Saints, looking for their first win. So far, Kansas City 1-1, a tie against Red Deer, and an 8-5 victory over the Arkansas Diamonds, and that puts their tournament record at 1-1 with 4 games to go. Well, this is a very pivotal game for both of these teams. You've got the A's at 1-1. Obviously, they'd like to get over the 500 mark, but if there's any aspirations on that other side, St. Paul, I mean, they really cannot afford to lose here and probably need to string a couple wins together just to get back into the hunt. Mike Griffin is the starting pitcher. There he was. He'll toe the rubber here today. He'll be going up against Ed Ketter, who's a crafty left-hander, gives you a lot of innings. And Dave Shelton, the outstanding shortstop. And we'd like to thank Dave for setting up today's broadcast, and they are really excited about him being at shortstop. He can really glove it with the best of them. We'll be back with a play-by-play in just a moment. Left-hander Dan Ketter is on the mound here for the St. Paul Saints. We're in the 65 and over Cactus Division I. Saints coming in 0-2 by way of record, and a 1-1 start here for Kansas City. Bertolotta to start things off here for the Kansas City A's. Tempe Diablo Stadium, a late start here. This was a scheduled 4 o'clock start time, and the first pitch is a called strike, and it's underway from the winter home of the Anaheim Angels. Good leadoff hitter at the plate here, and he takes upstairs for a ball, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike as we're just underway. 2022 Msbl World Series here on APN Sports. And here's a ball lifted in the air to right field, and this ball is going to drop in for a base hit, and the A's are off and going. And now the runner is heading for 2, and the throw will be not in time. So a good job of base running by Jeff to get things started. That'll bring up the second place hitter in Mark Adams. So Dan Ketter already in hot water as St. Paul trying to win their first MSBL Series pool play game this year. So Mark Adams up there with a called strike, 0-1. Left-hander delivers, and he left that one a little bit high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. So we start at 4:45. And here's a looper to right field in the sun field, and that's a base hit. Here comes the runner around third, and he should score easily. And just like that, just like the last time they were on APN, the Kansas City A's off and running immediately and lead it 1-0. Here's Weaver for the first time. Runner at first base. And nobody out here in the top of the first inning. The A's lead it 1-0 in the pitch, and the runner started to go, and here's a line drive out into right center field, and that's going to be a gapper. That might score another run. Weaver heading for 2. He's got an RBI double. They're waving the runner around. Here comes the throw to the plate. Nope, he dropped the ball, and it's 2-0 A's on a long double to right center field by Weaver. Here's Bobby Bulgatz. Swing and a miss. Comes up empty-handed. Our game time temperature on this October 26th, 2022, 75 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's a perfect day for our national pastime. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. So the first two have reached, and here's a chopper foul. Actually, the first three have reached here for the Kansas City A's. And much like that game that we had last year on APN Sports right here at Tempe Diablo, I believe it was a 26-1 victory for the A's. And that's a swing and a miss, and he's going to go down on strikes. So the first strikeout for Dan, and there's one down here in the top of the first.
Number 26, Bob Downs.
Now Bob Downs batting with a runner in scoring position, and he slaps one towards the shortstop. He'll make the play on it, and the throw across the infield is in time. Nice job, 2 down. So a nice defensive play by Gladfelder, and that's the second out of the inning. Dave Jolly will bat with a runner still at second base, now 2 out. And he sends a soaring shot to left center field, and it's off the glove of the left fielder, and that's going to produce the third run of the inning. That'll be ruled a base hit. It'll be a single, and it's 3-0 A's. So Kansas City, as we got a courtesy runner for Dave Jolly, who just drove in a run with a line drive single to left field. And the A's here in the top of the first inning, 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position, lead it by a score of 3-0. And here's a hot shot to the shortstop. He'll knock it down. Will he have a play? No. That'll be an error on the shortstop, and so the inning continues for the Kansas City A's. Now Don Stovall batting with runners at first and second. First pitch is way outside, ball 1. And you can see the runner on your screen when he gets into the sunlight. I mean, it's treacherous. I mean, you can't hardly see home plate even from second base. Shielding his eyes out there is the runner at second and Dave Jolly. Or check that, the courtesy runner. And a bouncing ball, another attempt for the shortstop, the underhanded flip. And the first inning is in the books, but the Kansas City A's, they score 3 times and lead 3-0 as we head to the home half of the first inning. Getting a look at the starting pitcher, right-hander Mike Griffin. One of the more talented pitchers in this 65 and over Cactus division. He'll be facing the top of the order here in the bottom of the first inning for St. Paul. Keith Oliva will start things off for St. Paul. Already down 3-0, so Mike Griffin staked to a trio of runs here as we head now to the bottom of the first inning from Tempe Diablo, and the first pitch to him is in there for a strike. Don Stovall doing the catching here today. Mike Tisdall, one of the parts of the brain trust, ground ball to the shortstop. Dave's up with it. And a nice throw to first base. He's got a good arm. He also pitches. And there's one down here in the bottom of the first. So 1 up and 1 down here in the first inning for St. Paul. Dave King, second place hitter, taking low for a ball. So a good defensive play there by Dave Chilton. I'd like to thank Dave for setting up today's broadcast. Two balls and no strikes as Griffin falls behind the second place hitter and now delivers a strike at the knees. Good pitch, and now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Tony Rosado is on deck for St. Paul, and 3-1 the count. Set for the next one, and he left it outside, ball 4, first walk of the game. Richard Morissette will courtesy run at first base. And now you got the third place hitter up here for the Saints and Tony Rosado. Runner at first with one man out. We're in the bottom of the first inning. The A's got 3 in the top of the inning, and the first one missed way inside ball 1. One ball and no strikes. That one's grounded foul third base side, and that'll even the count on the cleanup hitter at 1 ball 1 strike with 1 out. Check that, the third place hitter in the lineup. Cleanup hitter on deck is Dan Ketter. Now Griffin stepping off the pitching rubber and now ready to climb aboard and deliver the 1-1 pitch. And that one almost got him. 2-1, just inside. High chopper, third base side. This ball is going to stay in play, and that's going to be an infield hit. I thought for a moment that Tim McGivern down at third base was going to start blowing on that ball. Like one of those baseball follies videos back in the 80s. I think one of the Seattle Mariners tried to do that one time. So you got runners at first and second, a walk, a hit, a ground out to shortstop, and now starting pitcher and cleanup hitter Dan Ketter, who takes the first pitch, a called strike. So Mike Griffin on the mound trying to get out of a first and second jam. And this one gets away from the catcher, and that will allow both runners to move up into scoring position as Ketter represents the tying run for the Saints here in the bottom of the first. So a golden opportunity for St. Paul to get back into this ball game, and he hits a ground ball to the right side, the big hop. Throw to first is in time, and the runner does not advance home. So a good defensive play by Mark Adams at second base, holds the runner at third. And now they may have him picked off, and they do. An outstanding move by Griffin. And that will retire the side. No runs, 1 left on. And at the end of 1 inning of play from Tempe Diablo Stadium, this is the 35th annual MSBL World Series, and the A's lead at 3-0. Big Daddy's Donuts with 3 Kansas City metro locations. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy donuts, and that's kind of the same thing. I can't wait to sink my teeth into one. Big Daddy's, eat more donuts. Starting pitcher Mike Griffin will start things off top of the second, 3-0 A's. Best and Miss Cannon to follow in the first pitch outside ball 1. So 2 balls and no strikes. Second inning of work for Dan Ketter, the starting pitcher for St. Paul. Strike 2 called, good pitch. You get the feeling that maybe Ketter has settled down after struggling in that first inning. He did give up 1 unearned run out of the 3. The 2-2 pitch to Griffin. Lifted in the air, but it's going to be backing out of play. The A's were 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. That led to the 3-run top of the first inning. Pounded out 4 hits and a bouncing ball to the shortstop. He's got it. And the throw on will retire today's starting pitcher for the Kansas City A's. 1 up and 1 down here in the top of the second. Now Greg Best batting for the first time. And the first pitch is taken just under the knees for ball 1. 75 degrees, our game time temperature. Beautiful day here from Tempe Diablo Stadium. And here's a pop-up that's on the infield. The shortstop has called for it, and he will make the two-handed grab. That ball was dancing a little bit. I don't think it was the ball dancing. I think it's your eyeballs. So there's 2 down here in the inning. I'll bring up Bob Msbl, the final hitter in the order here for the Kansas City A's. Fastball high, 1 ball, no strikes. 65 and over Cactus Division. And a little looper, and that's going to roll foul. Boy, he almost touched the ball. He would have been out. Bob Msbl batting up there with 2 out. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. And he's ahead in the count at 2 balls and 1 strike. Bertolotta is on deck. And this one is softly hit to the shortstop, trying to make all 3 outs in this inning. And he throws the ball away and down the line, but they may have a play on him at second base. And he is going to be in safe sliding nonetheless. Well, I'll tell you what, Bob Msbl has more fans than any other MSBL player in the tournament. Hit number 5 for the Kansas City A's. We go back to the top of the order. Jeff got things started with a hit, and that's a shot off the pitcher's mound, and then he was able to recover and throw him out. It may not be the Marucci big play of the day, but that was a pretty good play nonetheless by Dan. He heads back to the first base dugout. His team trails 3-0 on APN. Kevin Bush starting things off here for St. Paul, down 3-0 against Mike Griffin. Bottom half of inning number 2. First pitch in there for a called strike. Bush getting the start at first base for St. Paul. Griffin had a pretty easy first inning, though. They did get first and second. And a high chopper down to third. He'll have to play it on the big hop. Juggles it a few times. And the throw to first in time. What a scoop at first base. Well, somebody's going to get a free drink here later tonight. So Downs with the outstanding play. He saved a throwing error. And now with 1 out, nobody on, the batter is going to be Bob Mitchell. And coming right back with a good pitch, Mike Griffin evens the count in 1 ball and 1 strike. Ready for the 1-2 pitch, and it's chopped foul. Over along the third base side, occupied by the Kansas City A's. Mike Griffin in his 2nd inning of work. Comes in with a fastball and almost did the old backdoor breaking pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on the count with Bob Mitchell at the plate. And the 2-2. Line shot, and he was able to knock it down, pick it up, and the throw to first got him 2 down. What a tremendous play by Mike Griffin. I'll bring up Dave Sobaish, batting with nobody on and 2 in out here in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. And the first pitch under the knees, ball 1. Bottom half of the 2nd inning. The A's got RBIs from Adams, Weaver, and then Dave Jolly in that first inning, and they lead it 3-0. And a tapper to Dave. He charges. Nice hands. Throw to first in time. So they're working like a well-oiled machine at least through 2 innings, and they lead 3-0 at the 35th Annual Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series. Back at Tempe Diablo Stadium, we're heading now to the top of the third inning. Kansas City third time up. 2, 3, and 4, Mark Adams, and a line shot out into left field. He jumped all over the first pitch from Dan Ketter and lines it out into left field for a clean single. Hit number 6 for Kansas City. Dan Ketter now in his third inning of work as the starting pitcher for this St. Paul baseball club. And this one is lined into right. They're playing shallow, and it gets by the right fielder. This could plate the run and should. Ball way out into deep right field, and this is going to be a 3-base hit and an RBI, and the A's lead it 4-0. A long triple for Jerry Weaver, who's been hitting like Hornsby here today. Now Bobby Bulgatz, who was a strikeout victim of Dan Ketter back in the first inning, comes to the plate with a runner at third and nobody out, a run in, and Kansas City leads it by a score of 4-0. And that ball got a piece of him, and he is heading down to first base. First hit batsman of the contest. Now first baseman Bob Downs. First and third occupied with nobody out here in the top of the third inning. Again, just another beautiful day here in the Valley of the Sun on this Monday evening. He takes a strike. Out is 0-1 on the first baseman, who made a nice play on a low throw from third base. And eventually it turned out to be a 1-2-3 inning for his pitcher, Mike Griffin. But we're in the top of the third inning, 4-0 Athletics. Of course, I mean, most of the guys out here have played in this tournament probably for many years. As the 1-1 pitch. And a soft hit line drive. The second baseman gets there and will get his man, but the run will score to make it 5-0 Athletics. All right, that's going to bring up the slick fielding shortstop, Dave Chilton. Number 15. And the first pitch, strike on the inside corner, bailing out of there, and the umpire called it a strike. No balls, 1 strike on him. So Kansas City out to a nice start here, and then they get yet another extra base hit and an RBI by Jerry Weaver in this inning. And a swing and a foul by Dan Hecker at the plate. Might have switched the uniform maybe before the tournament. Athletics uniforms with the big numbers. No balls and 2 strikes to him. A mile away. And he chops one down towards the shortstop. Picked up by the shortstop. No play at third, and then throws to first, not in time. And I thought Dave beat that one out. First and third, a 5-0 lead. And he did. First and third. Coming up is going to be Les Gann. First pitch to him is taken just under the knees, ball 1. Ketter needing a double play right here with 1 out and get out of further damage, but this ball is hit into right field, and it's going to be caught. Nice catch. Here's the tag, and actually they're going to go back to first and double him off. And that'll retire the side. So a nice throw from the right fielder and a nice catch. Richard Morissette will get a high five and congratulations from his teammates. Bottom half of the third coming up. Saints down 5-0. Rick Steadman to start things off. Home half of the third inning here for St. Paul, who trails it 5-0 in this 65 and over Cactus division. First time up for Steadman, and he's ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Third inning of work for Mike Griffin. He sights a sign needing a strike and does not get the call. 3 balls and no strikes as St. Paul starts things off here in the home half of the third inning. They come in with a record of 0-2, while the A's are 1 win, 1 loss. They had a 4-4 tie in their first game and defeated the Arkansas team 8-5 yesterday. So it's 3 balls and 1 strike as Steadman leads things off here in the bottom half of the third inning. And that's ball 4. That'll bring up left-handed hitting Bill Albert with a runner at first and nobody out here in the home half of the third. And the first pitch to him is swung on and fouled off. Don Stovall, the catcher here today for Kansas City, doing a nice job. And here's a looper back of short, but the left fielder was playing very shallow, and he'll make the catch. So Bob Miscannon has got his fan club over here on the third base side up on the mezzanine. Here's Jeff Gladfelter, the starting shortstop. He takes the first pitch under the knees, ball one. Third inning of work for Mike Griffin. He's given up one hit. He has walked two. Gladfelter trying to get something going here. St. Paul down by 5 here in the home half, and Stovall again almost effortlessly making the stop and saving a potential wild pitch. Griffin ready for the next offering. Runner stays put, and this one is looped back a shortstop, long run, and it's going to drop. Will they have a play at second? No. So a good effort by Dave Chilton out at shortstop. Had to go a long ways, no chance for the third baseman, and that's going to be a base hit for St. Paul, their second in this contest. All right, we go to the top of the order for St. Paul, and Keith Oliva here in the home half of inning number 3. 5-0 lead for the A's. And the pitch in there for a called strike. I'll tell you what, that's almost, it's one of those unhittable pitches, I think. Unless you're the batting champion standing to my left here. Five nothing lead for the A's. We're in the home half of the third. Yeah, throw down the second. And the runner started to go, but the center fielder was backing it up, or playing shallow more accurately. And it's 1-1 strike. Well, with the last name of Oliva, you would think Keith might be a pretty good hitter. He's in the leadoff position in the batting order for St. Paul. And he's up there with 2 on and 2 out. 2-1 is now the count on the leadoff hitter. Griffin working a little slow here today. And that one is in the dirt, and it's 3-1. Stovall has done a sensational job. And Griffin is the kind of guy, I mean, he's not going to overpower you, but he tries to get the hitter to induce into ground balls, and with that, you're going to get pitches into the dirt quite often. And then you got a guy like Stovall who is very, very valuable to this success of the Kansas City A's team. Count runs 3-2. 2 out, and he's already picked off one runner to end the top or the bottom half of the first inning when he picked off the runner at third base to end the first inning. And now the 3-2 pitch. Runners go, and it's fouled off. Good job of hitting there by Keith Oliva to stay alive. Now the 3-2 again. And it's lined right at Dave. He couldn't make the play. Here comes the runner around third, and he is going to score the first run of the game for St. Paul. And now they may have the runner at third base. Here's the tag, and he is safe. Not sure what happened out there, but Dave couldn't quite come up with the ball, and it's now 5-1. Now Rich Morissette. And a little pop-up out in front of the plate. That's a fair ball and a nifty play by Griffin, and that'll retire the side. An unearned run scores at the end of 3. It's 5-1 in favor of the Kansas City A's, and this is apnvideo.com and our coverage of the 35th Annual MSBL World Series. Big Daddy's Donuts with 3 Kansas City metro locations. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy donuts, and that's kind of the same thing. I can't wait to sink my teeth into one. Big Daddy's Eat More Donuts. We are in the top of the 4th inning. Just chatting with some friends from the Oklahoma City, formerly San Antonio, and the first batter pops out, the catcher of the A's. 1 down. Mike Griffin, the starting pitcher, second time up. Top of the 4th inning, 5-1 A's. Griffin, a swing and a miss, grounded to shortstop his first and only time up. Leading things off in the 2nd inning. We're in the top of the 4th. Fourth inning of work for the southpaw Dan Ketter. And he leaves it high to even the count on Griffin at 1-1. Strike 2 called. Good pitch. Well, the cavernous dimensions, as I always refer this ballpark, 340 down the line. The gaps are definitely over 400, 420 to center field and 360. And a chopper down to third and gobbled up there nicely. And the throw across, scooped out by the first baseman for out number 1. Devetter at third base. On the assist over to Bush. 2 up and 2 down for Kansas City here in the top of the 4th inning. 3 in a row set down by Ketter. And here's a bunt, a pop-up that's going to drop safely foul. No balls and 1 strike. 2 out, nobody on, and a foul back, and it's quickly 0-2 on Greg Best. Dan trying to get his first 1-2-3 inning for St. Paul, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch. And a looper over the second baseman's head and in the right field, a base hit. And Best is heading for 2 as the second baseman had to field it out in medium depth right field. That'll be a double. Now the fan favorite, Miss Cannon. And the first pitch is swung on and in and out of the glove. Almost thought that maybe he tail end of that swing might have connected with the catcher, but that was not the case, or the call by the home plate umpire. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Runner at second base. Good pitch. Outside corner, and it's no balls and 2 strikes on Bob Miscannon, who had a base hit. 5 runs, 9 hits. The totals here for the KC A's. Trying to get that runner in and get back to a 5-run lead. And that one just got a piece of that one. A foul ball by Miscannon. So we mentioned the A's 5 runs, 9 hits. St. Paul 1 run on 2 hits. And now Ketter to the plate. And he struck him out swinging to retire the side. 5-1, the A's lead it at the 35th annual MSBL World Series from Tempe. Home half of inning number 4, and St. Paul down by a 5-1 count. And another inning for Mr. Mike Griffin. Tony Rosado will start things off for the St. Paul Saints here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. Griffin has given up just the 1 run, and it was an unearned run back in the 3rd inning. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Pitch and a chopper to shortstop. Dave's got it. Long throw across, and what a nice scoop over there at first base. Nice job by Bolgatz at first base.
Number 5, Dan Ketter.
I'll bring up Dan Ketter, the starting pitcher. It was kind of settled down out there. He gave up 3 runs in the first, though only 2 were earned, and then gave up 2 more in the top of the 3rd inning. Of the 5 runs, 4 are earned. And he rolls one to the right side, took a bad hop, and that's going to be a base hit. I don't think you can throw a guy out at first base from the outfield in this age group. I could be wrong. So a 1-out single.
7, Kevin Bush.
Kevin Bush, second time up, the outstanding first baseman, with a runner at first base and the first one in there for a called strike. On this date in baseball history, Charles Comiskey died at the age of 72. The White Sox owner and pioneer player never recovered from the betrayal of his 1919 World Series team. I was watching that movie the other day. I think it was an outstanding baseball movie. Watched that one and watched Field of Dreams, which I might have to admit, I might actually like that one a little better now. 3 balls and 1 strike on Bush. Check that, 2 balls, 1 strike on the first baseman, Mike Griffin. And the big curveball missed, 3-1. Mike, one of the good guys, fun to talk with, a very positive person. And he's out there he's going to try to go the distance if he can. And that one chopped foul, and the count runs to full, 3-2. Here's the pitch. And that is down to third. Nice job there. They'll go second 1 and try to turn the double play, and they do. Well, a good start down there at the hot corner. They turn the 5-4-3 double play. And at the end of 4 in the MSBL World Series, 5-1 A's. And that was Rich McCoy who started that twin killer for Kansas City. Big Daddy's Donuts with 3 Kansas City metro locations. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy donuts, and that's kind of the same thing. I can't wait to sink my teeth into one. Big Daddy's, eat more donuts. Well, how many times do you make the outstanding play to end an inning and then come up to the plate? Rich McCoy added to the bottom of the order here for the Kansas City A's. As we head now to the top of the 5th inning, they lead it by a score of 5-1. Dan Ketter in his 5th inning of work, and the first pitch to McCoy, ball 1. In the air towards the shortstop, having trouble with it, and it drops in for a base hit out into shallow left field. Jeff batting for the 3rd time already in this contest. Bertolotta with a single and a run scored in the 1st and bounced out back to the mound. Lays down a beautiful bunt. First base side, Ketter better hurry, and is not going to get him. And he's off the bag and safe. That's a bunt single. That's hit number 11 for the Athletics. Mark Adams had an RBI single back in the 1st inning and then drove in a run in the 3rd. He has scored 2, and he's had 2 RBI at-bats in this contest. First and second, nobody out. High chopper down to third. The shortstop, he won't make a play. That'll be an infield hit. Jerry Weaver had a long triple, an RBI triple his last time up. Third place hitter in the lineup, and you can see why if you've been watching this game. He's in that position. He's doubled, he's tripled, he's driven in two runs, and he has scored 2. The first pitch is ball 1. So the bases are loaded for Jerry Weaver. And he puts the bat on the ball, skies at the left field. That's a long run, nice catch. And the quick throw back to second, not in time. It is a sacrifice fly, and it's now 6-1 Kansas City. So Kansas City batting .500 in this game with runners in scoring position. 1 man out, 2 on, and the first pitch is just off the plate. So Bobby Bulgatz with a chance to really open this game up. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Only 1 man out, and here's a line smash out into left center field, base hit. As the ball comes back in quickly, here comes the runner home. And the throw to the plate is in time. Throw to third, not in time. So Bob Downs will come to the plate. 2 are out. And a good relay. Left fielder, shortstop to home. And the first pitch in there, a called strike to Downs. Downs is 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He drove in a run his last time up on a ground out to the right side at second base. No balls and 1 strike. And that one is just outside a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Ketter needs an out to get out of this inning unscathed except for the 1 run. And there is no force out. The third baseman throws to first. It gets away. 1 run is going to score. And the throw will come home as the runner from first goes to second. And it's now 7-1 A's. Second time up for Dave Jolly. That'll be an unearned run charged against the defense of St. Paul. And Jolly takes a strike. He's sharing the 6th position with Hacker. He had an RBI single back in the 1st inning. So it's 7-1 Kansas City. Here's a pop-up. That's going to find the seats or at least the dugout. And it'll be 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Dan Ketter on the mound, and here's the pitch. And it's lifted down the right field line, but that's a foul ball. And we'll do another 0-2 count coming up. With runners at second and third, the 0-2 pitch. We'll try it again. And a line shot up the middle and into center field. The center fielder is going to run the ball in. And runners will be at first and third, but it's going to be another RBI hit for Jolly, and it's 8-1 A's. That'll bring up Les Gann, who has reached on an error and hit into a double play. So 3 more runs here in the top of the 5th, and now they got the runner picked off at first, but now the runner is breaking from home, or to home from third, and they throw the ball away. That'll make it a 9-1 score, and the runner will end up at second base anyway. Good pitch. And a called strike, 0-1 the count on Les Gann with 2 out, and 4 runs have come across, but you can't really blame Dan Ketter. He has pitched an excellent game here today, and he misses outside with a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And big wave and a miss. Well, the Major League Baseball World Series all set up, a rematch of the 1980 National League Championship Series, as the Houston Astros, who of course most of you, if not all of you know, are now playing in the American League, but back in those days they were a National League West team. And they'll be taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gann, trying to extend a 4-run fifth. Well, it was amazing how Houston dominated the Yankees, and Aaron Judge, line shot, base hit, center field, and they're going to try to throw him out at first base, and to no avail. And runners are now at first and third. So Les Gann with a 9-drive clean single to center field. Now catcher Don Stovall will come to the plate with runners at first and third and 2 outs. First pitch to Stovall, and the runner is going to go, and no play on him. Hey, you got to give him a stolen base. There was a throw. It was cut off. I think that's the first steal of the ball game. Stovall looking for his first hit, and he takes ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. And here's a smash down the line. That's foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The A's are 8 of 14 with runners in scoring position, and we're only in the top of the 5th inning. Second and third. And a high pop-up. That's a tough play for the catcher. One hit all that high.
Remind me what play it was.
Okay. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Kansas City catcher. A 4-run top of the 5th, and here's one skied up to the shortstop, and he will make the catch to retire the side. But the A's give 4 more runs here, top of the 5th, Tempe Diablo Stadium, and they lead it 9-1. Well, Mr. Griffin into his 5th inning of work here. His team scoring 4 times in the top of the 5th, now lead by 8. And you're getting a look at the leadoff hitter here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, Bob Mitchell. Mike Griffin. Four innings of 1-run baseball, and that 1 run that was scored back in the 3rd inning is unearned. Here's a line drive, and they were playing shallow, and it's going to drop in. It's going to get between the outfielders. That's a long run for your center fielder, and here comes Mitchell to second, and he's going to put the brakes on. So a leadoff double for the Saints, and they're off and running here in the home half of the 5th inning. Dave Sabaish batting for the 2nd time. Hit number 4 for St. Paul. Well, Bob Mitchell, ball or ride, no question about it. That one is way inside. We're in the 65 and over Cactus Division, MSBL World Series 2022. Tempe Diablo was built or opened in 1969. You go all the way back and was opened for the Seattle Pilots. Ray Fosse was the first player, as this one is scorched past the 3rd baseman out into left field. Nice job by the left fielder. It almost got an outfield assist on the play. Bob Miscannon, nice job getting over to that ball. So you got runners at 1st and 3rd. Rick Stedman will be the next batter here for St. Paul as they try to climb back into this ball game. Mike Griffin has been a tough nut to crack here, though. Except for this inning, he's given up 2 hard hit balls. And the first pitch is just off the plate, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. They're on the corners here. And this one skips away. And that's going to allow the run to score, and it's going to be 9-2 now. A wild pitch. Runner at second, still nobody out. And that's a called strike. 9-2. And the look back to second. There was no play on for the Kansas City A's. 2-1. And a strike called. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Stedman. Bill Alber is waiting on deck. Still nobody out here. Runner at second base. A run is in. We're talking about this stadium opened up in 1969. Ray Fosse was the first to hit it out of here, who came up, I believe, with the Cleveland Indians. And, of course, Ray passed away last year right before the MSBL World Series started. The count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Stedman is hammered down the line, and it's foul. Ready with the 3-2 pitch once again. And Griffin to Stedman, and he lines one out into right center field. That's going to be a base hit, and it will be extras. Coming around third and scoring the 3rd run of the ball game for St. Paul. So Rick Stedman with an RBI cuts the deficit to 6. That'll bring up the left-handed hitting Bill Alber, and here's a comebacker to the mound. And who's he going to throw it to? The center fielder. Well, you'd like to see, especially with that left-handed hitter at the plate, maybe the shortstop take that ball, and his momentum would have taken him towards first base, but that wasn't the case, and Griffin will be charged with a throwing error. And there is still nobody out, and this is a golden opportunity for the Saints to get back into this ball game. Gladfelter, the shortstop, takes a strike. Griffin sights a sign, now brings it plateward, the 0-1 pitch. And a big curveball, and Gladfelter went fishing. No balls and 2 strikes. And it's outside, 1-2. And a looper to the shortstop. He might have the double play, and he does. Throw it to first, and it's a triple play. How about that? Dave Chilton started it, and a perfect relay, second to first. And that's our Marucci big play of the day. Well, the crowd is buzzing. A lot of smiles on that third base dugout, no doubt about it. But they get 2 runs in the inning, and we are heading to the 6th. From Diablo Stadium, the winter home of the Anaheim Angels, it's the A's 9 and the Saints 3. Mike Griffin to start things off here in the top of the 6th inning. He takes first pitch, ball 1. Dan Ketter in his 6th inning of work. I think he's pitched a nice game. A few unearned runs charged against him, but he's out there in the 6th inning, and Mike swings and he misses. That'll run the count to 1 ball, 1 strike. So we had a triple play to end the bottom half of the 5th inning, a 6-4-3 triple play. That is the 2nd one I've seen this year.
What did you do?
Griffin looking for his first hit of the day. He takes low, 3-1. And the 3-1 popped him up. Who wants it? The second baseman running in and will not have a play. And safe at first, an infield hit for Griffin. He'll take it. That'll bring up Greg Best. Greg had a double his last time up. He's 1 for 2. We're in the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, I know.
And he pops this one up, but it's fouling out of play, and it's no balls and 1 strike on him. Well, on this date in baseball history, in 1971, Oakland's Vida Blue wins the American League Cy Young Award by a 98-85 margin over Mickey Lolich of the Tigers. Vida Blue